Welcome to another episode of your review channel. Today we're talking about episode 2, Outside Wedding, how I edit and how I put it together. So stay tuned, but before I get into the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It does help me out quite a bit, so I do appreciate that. So let's get into the video right now. Okay, so we're in our project here. So what I have here is basically a full edited project. So I'll go over a little bit of how I shot this wedding. This was an outside wedding at the local country club in our area, and worked there for many years. And outside weddings, a lot of the times when the weather was permitting, they did have some inside weddings once in a while, which is kind of drabby because there wasn't a lot to work with. We try to work with our surrounding areas. We try to edit as we see. So this was an outside wedding. It was fairly decent day. So I'll give you an idea on how I did my openings, and you can just see how it looks. Let's get into the beginning here. And this is the beginning of the video. Let's go up here and let's play this. So a lot of times I'd always start out with their name. A lot of these guys are out doing the cinematic, awesome stuff, and it's fantastic, but that just wasn't my style. My style was really pretty much to tell the story as it unfolded. So I would get the outside sign of the building, outside sign of the name of the country club, the parking lot. You can see it was an overcast day, so which is actually great for video, but it was kind of the threat of rain, so it was iffy. So a lot of this all the outside shots before the people would get there. Always got there an hour, at least before the wedding would even start. Again, detailed shot with flowers, the chairs, just to get an idea of what's happening. It was a fall day, of course, and I always ask the bride what type of music they like. I don't usually use the music. I try to really incorporate what they like, as far as get their feelings with video. So I get a lot of the detail shots here. You can see this is 2015. This is a while ago. I think I've been doing this for like 35 years, so I have a lot of older footage. But the premise is still the same. Doesn't matter when it is and what it is. You just gotta tell the story. So this is the tables. I try to get the tables before people sit there. I try to get the cake before it's cut. And these are all just all the beauty shots. I try to get all before the actual wedding would start. And get the shot of the room. Again, you're telling the story because the bride and groom doesn't really see the beginning of their wedding. The time they get there, everyone's seated, everyone's eating pretty much, everything is kind of a mess. So this is a nice way to then see what their wedding looked like prior to them arriving, which is kind of cool, right? Any special signs, any special things like that. I get it all, and just shoot as much as you need, and then you can never undershoot, especially today with the technology. So I just kind of shot everything, and then you can play with it. You know what I mean? And they had a lot of the problem with this one, and I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing this. All these DJs are using uplighting, and it's screwing up all the color balancing, and it's just a pain in the neck. But you deal with it. It is what it is. You can't make it perfect, but you can do the best you can. So you see here, I'm getting a lot of the guests coming in, and this song here she chose. So like I said, this is the music that she chose, and hopefully this won't get demonetized on YouTube. But this is basically the video as it unfolded right here on the spot. So I wanted to really give you an idea of how it looks and how the feeling was. So going across the video and just getting people coming in, get the grandparents, get the parents, get the guests, pretty much get everything you possibly can. And so let's move on here. So you can see a little bit how this is kind of flowing, there's a lot of, and don't be afraid to get out there and talk to the groom and the groomsmen, and they're having a good time too. So they're having a good time as much as you are. So here's a nice little cool shot here. Everyone's kind of like talking, and everyone's like hanging out. So that's kind of cool. I like that. So that's kind of a cool thing. So let's just continue down here. So here's the bride. She arrived actually on a golf cart, which is actually different than a limousine, which is kind of cool, and she looked kind of petrified there. So that's how that segment kind of ended. So you can get an idea of how we do the opening shots and how we start rolling in right into the reception. All the parents are coming down. I always get the parents. I always get the bridesmaids. Just kind of roll with it. It's a fall wedding, as you can see. You get the kids coming down the aisle. You work with all the photographers. You work with everybody. You make sure you get your placement. Always stand in the aisle. A lot of people are afraid to be where the guests are. You can't be. You have to be point of view. You have to see what's going on. Don't be afraid. Just they know what you're there to do. Just don't block the priest or the JP, and don't be in the photographer's way. Work with the photographer, and everything will really run kind of smoothly. You have to work together. It's not your show. It's not his show. It's the bride show. It's the bride's wedding, so you have to work together to make it perfect. So you can see here's a nice shot of her just coming down. And then typically I'll zoom out a little bit so you can get more of the whole dress shot. So you can kind of edit this any way you want to. I just keep things natural. It's really about the bride and her day. You can just see her coming down the aisle. Real simple. This is not rocket science. This is just basically capturing things as they unfolded. So you get that whole view there. And then we just do a transition. So what we do here, we just basically cut here. So it looks like a multi-camera shoot. So this is a cutaway. So it's basically a transition into a second. It looks like a second camera, but it's not. And it comes onto the behind the just is the piece. And basically the groom is wired with a wireless microphone. I typically use either a Sony or an Audio-Technica depending on situation. Always check your audio, check your channels, make sure there's no interference, things like that. So as you can see here, they're going to the vows. And if you faced the where they're getting married, either the altar or wherever the JP stands, okay, you always have to stand to the right, the bride stands to the left. That way you want to really get her profile shot. If you do two cameras, one camera on each side or a camera in the back. So depending on how you do your production, most of my productions were one camera shoot, or if I had second camera, it was unmanned. Okay, so you can see how that's going. So the audio is a little bit low because I got the audio down so you can hear my voice over, so you can just get an idea. So you can see this is a nice shot of the bride. It's nice and clear. You can really see a nice angle of her when she's looking at the justice of the peace, when she's looking at the groom. So you do get a side profile of the groom. Unfortunately, you know, when you're shooting a one camera shoot, there is a sacrifice, and that's just the way I did it. And you know, you can, and most of the time they're looking at the justice of the peace, so you can just see here they're both, you can get a good profile shot of both of them, which is nice. So let's get here. Let's just move this right down the line here so you can see. The lighting is really nice this day too. This is all natural light on the camera. They get hand shots again. You get a lot of emotion. It's really just, this is just a really good setup. You can see the people in the background. If anybody's speaking, you can go around, move around, do what you got to do. Here's a 3-shot, which is really nice. There we go. So let's get into the other side here. So let's just move this down. It actually did move over to the other side, which is kind of cool, right? So if you have the space, and in most churches you can't do this, you know what I mean? You really can't go side to side. I mean, it won't happen. Your priest will just stop the service. I've had it happen to me. They'll just stop the service on the spot and say, "Don't move, stay over there." Things like that. You don't want to be, an embarrassing situation. So in a church, you really can't move. Things like this, you can move around a little bit, so which is kind of cool. So that's kind of, so let's get into, so you see how that goes, and that's kind of cool, right? So that works out well. And let's get the vows. You can just see how I do the vows.
I take you to be my best friend,
my faithful partner, and my one true love.
my faithful partner, and my one true love.
I promise to encourage you and inspire you.
I promise to encourage you and inspire you.
To love you truly through good times and bad.
To love you truly through good times and bad.
I will forever be there to laugh with you.
I will forever be there to laugh with you.
To lift you up when you are down.
To lift you up when you're down.
You can see how the audio is really clean.
Through all of our life's adventures.
And to love you unconditionally through all our life's adventures.
Michelle.
So this audio was basically captured on the camera. So they had 2 channels in the camera, and one channel was for the shotgun microphone, and the other channel I used for the audio on the groom's lapel. And basically I can control it as needed. I can shut it off and on when I wanted to, and then that was basically kind of shooting or editing on the fly with the audio. You can do it your own way. You want to record a separate track and then import it later. Easy enough to dub today, but this is how I did it. I basically shot the edit and just made the workflow easier in the back end, and that's how I did it.
I will forever be there to laugh with you.
Okay, so let's go over here. So let's move it down here. So usually, typically, what I would do is I would as it got towards the end, I would, because you kind of know after so many times doing this, you get an idea when it's ending, final blessings, whatever. You'll know when to start moving. So typically, I would do like a freeze frame shot. They wouldn't really know. Let's just do a quick cutaway. I can keep the audio track running if I want to. And then basically it looks like a cutaway with a second camera, but it's not. This is all done with one camera. And again, it's important to get them coming and leaving together. So here's a photographer, which is fine. Listen, it is what it is. And here's a nice shot of them leaving. So by being either handheld or a monopod, you're able to move around and jog yourself. If you're on a tripod, you're kind of stuck. So, you know, a lot of guys with these big rigs and these big cameras and these, you know, slide platforms or whatever, you're tough, you're kind of stuck. So, you know, you just got to be able to just, you know, when you're doing weddings and you're doing event videography, it's not like a TV show. You can say cut, stand here, stand there. It doesn't happen that way. You have to flow, move, and move. You have to think ahead and move, and project what's the next thing going to happen. That way you can think ahead and where you're going to move. That way you won't miss the shot, because that's not going to happen again, and they're not going to relive it again. You know what I mean? They're not going to do it again. So that's important. And if you're in the photographer's way, there's nothing you can do. You're in his way, you're in her way, whatever, vice versa. It just happens. And typically I would just get a lot of people leaving, you know, a few people leaving, and then I would just cut away to either a transition, or I'd cut away to the sky shot, and would just give it like an ending to this. And then I would roll into almost like the pre-reception. So this is I would call this the photography does their beauty shot. So they do their segment. So this is how I would do it. It's a lot of slow motion involved. It's kind of cool. It's got a really nice flow to this. And this is some audio tracks that I own, and you can just see it's a beautiful segment where people just walking, and the music's in the background, nice piano. I typically think this is really kind of cool. You get some black and whites, a little bridge in the background. So this is kind of a nice look in general, that, you know, the bride and groom can relive their wedding day and just see. They used to walk away, tell them to hold hands, and don't be afraid to engage. You know, talk to them. You know, the photographer's doing his thing, and that's cool. And you can take a lot of advantage of those situations, because he knows, if they're well experienced, how to do things. So he'll know how to shoot all this. So this is a really kind of cool, blurry. You know, this is a really nice. I love that shot. You know what I mean? So you really just you just capture all this footage, and then you just edit it later in the background. This is what it comes out with. This is how I used to do my videos, and I have them like facing towards me, and then I use a hand shot, which is kind of a cool. I use that as a transition piece. Don't be afraid to lay the camera on the ground. You know, get that just different perspective that a lot of videographers are afraid to do. Don't be afraid to just try different things, and just don't be afraid to engage your clients. It's really important. And I hope you're enjoying this segment. I hope it's not too long. I just wanted to give you an idea of how I did my shooting and my videos. And the next segment, or episode 3, will be the beginning of the reception, and we'll get into that. Okay, so thanks for watching this episode. Feel free to subscribe below for future episodes. I'm doing segments at a time. I'm giving you my thoughts and my feelings on how I did my job and how I did my editing. If you have any trouble, if you have any issues, if you have any questions on editing, or any questions about how to handle certain things with the multi-cameras, or dealing with brides and grooms, and dealing with function managers or DJs or whatever, I'll be glad to answer any question that you have. So smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. You'll get all the future notifications. As soon as something comes out, you'll see it. So thanks again one more time for watching. Hope you learned something, and I do enjoy what I do. So any questions, again, like I said, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, tell me what you think. Also, to do the survey, I have a survey on top of the screen as well. Do you like to edit, or do you like to shoot? What do you like to do? Let me know. Okay, guys, this is it for this one. See you next time.